What's up, guys? I wanted to make a video on Reinhardt mechanics. Overwatch 2 is going to come out pretty soon. It's about a month from now is the release date. I don't know if it'd be good or not. Doesn't matter. I just wanted to make a video on, from what I've known and what I've learned as a Reinhardt main who has hit 4.3, 4.2 in Grandmaster. So, I can show that. This season, I kind of just started playing 4K. This season, I was 4.2. And then I stopped playing for a few seasons, so I didn't actually get up to GM. But I can pretty fast. It only took 2 hours, 10 games. Yeah, I'm a high elo player for the most part. I know what I'm doing on Rein, so I thought I could actually help out with some information that I haven't seen before. Reinhardt is very misunderstood, or at least on his swings. It's not simple, okay? If you do this, you're not being optimal. This isn't good, okay? I'll show you how to actually swing one right. So, there's a very important understanding that you have to have of his hitbox, first of all. So his hitbox, instead of being a curve that has the same distance from where you're looking to wherever your hammer is, it's not a curve. It's a rectangle. So other guys have talked about this before, but you need to understand it really well to know how to use it. So if you look at this area is going to be what you see. The blob down here is what Reinhardt, like the actual character. And then in front of you is going to be the hitbox, the crosshair, and then the edge of your screen. Because it's a rectangle, you have 3 different kind of areas that you would want to swing. First area is main, or like where your crosshair is facing. This is the shortest length, and it's very ineffective. If you want to do more damage, and if you want to do it at a further range, you want to hit people in this area. It's a longer line that reaches to the corners of your hitbox. So the distance, this line is actually shorter than these lines. That's the first thing you need to understand. Where is this on your screen when you swing? Well, it is always going to be positioned directly in between your crosshair and the edge of your screen. So to demonstrate this, this is 5 meters, okay? You can't hit this bot from your crosshair. But you can hit it if you position the enemy between your crosshair and the edge of your screen. This goes for both sides, okay? Very basic part of hitboxes. You need to understand that you have more range on the corners of your hitbox swing. Now, how do you use it? Well, I can start with the basic Reinhardt combo. Everybody knows this if you played Rein in like Diamond, or not everybody knows it, but a good chunk of the player base probably already knows this. But you can hit, and then the second your hit marker goes, you use your E. And what it does is it cancels your animation on your swing and adds fire strike damage. So instead of a full swing like that, where it would take a while to do damage, you can actually animation cancel. So second the hit marker comes up, you E. Okay? This is the basic combo. A lot of people say this is the most damage you can do on Rein. It's not true. I'll explain it later. But there's actually a better way to do it. Most people just look straight on and boom, boom, okay? The issue with this is that it's harder to hit your fire strike than what I'm going to show you, and it's also less range. So because we've talked about the corners being more, you actually want to hit them in this area again. So animation cancel from here. Why do you want to do this? Well, 1, range. 2, you hit things sooner. So instead of hitting them halfway through your swing, you're hitting them at the beginning of your swing. So the animation cancel is actually technically a little bit faster. And you also don't have to aim as much. So when you swing, right, the ball goes left. But if you swing and you hit them on the right side of your screen, the ball goes right into your crosshair. If you do this, then you can just fire strike the second you hit them, and boom, hits them. Don't even have to aim. Easy. Now, that is using your swing like at the beginning. Very important to understand that, how to get out your damage as quickly as possible if you need to get out just a little bit of damage. Anyways, you don't always just have to do this with Fire Strike, though. You can also do this with Shield. So most people will do this, but it's actually slower than if you do it on the right side of your screen. Alright? Good players know this. I haven't seen them talk about it before, though. And I haven't seen it in the guide. So, right side of your screen, usually hit them on that side. Way better than hitting in the middle, for the most part. Second thing is something I've never seen anybody talk about, but I've seen high elo players do it, but I don't know that it's like a concept that is talked about a lot. Actually, I don't think it's talked about at all, but I call it buffering swings. So if you start your swing out of range, right? Obviously you can't hit them, but if you hit them at the end of your first swing, your second swing damage is going to come in earlier than, or at least closer together to your first hammer swing. So instead of hitting things like this, right, we can hit them like this. Way faster. Way faster. Okay? You can use this, especially when you know the other team has a lot of healing, and you need to do damage in a more bursty fashion. So if they have a Moira Mercy, which is common in low elos, or an Ana Moira or something that's like usually don't see, because a lot of healing doesn't actually help a lot in most cases, you can swing and do a bunch of burst. So not only are we going to double hit after buffering our hammer swing, we can also fire strike cancel the second swing. So, oh my gosh, that was weird. All right, so boom, and you can one shot like anything with this, basically. May one shot. Reaper. Oh, I didn't know fire strike, but you get the idea, okay? 250 HP targets you can one shot. Very good when you're also swinging corners. So if you are swinging a corner and there's somebody out of your range, but you are the one that has to pass through choke, so say there's an objective over there, and you have to pass through the choke and they're holding the corner, you can buffer your swing as you're moving, okay? So, looks like this. So you push the corner and you do more damage than they can by buffering your swing, because you choose when you want to go on attack. On defense, they get to choose where they want to play, so they can choose this corner. Aside from that, you only have a few other things. The last swing tech is animation canceling your direction with the swing. So most people, even I've never even seen a high elo player do this, but most people, when they try to move people to one direction on Rein, they wait until their first swing's over and then they start their second swing. So you have to click every time. Say the Zarya is walking to this corner and this is where her team is. If I swing here, I can reset my swing and keep her going in one direction, so that she can't get close to this area. Even if she's walking this way, she'll kind of be stuck like this. Now, I think there's a better way to do this. I've used this for a long time. It's called animation canceling your direction. So basically, you swing, you hold left click, and then you tap right click when you get the hit mark. I've already tested it. It's not actually more DPS, so you don't do more damage by doing this. All that it really does is it resets your swing direction, so you can keep people in one area. So I can do the same thing here as I would just like swinging like this, but it's way easier to execute, and it's just easier. So animation cancel. It might be a little bit faster actually, but it's not like noticeable, at least not to like a large extent. So you can keep someone in a corner by animation canceling with your shield, just tapping right click. Aside from that, there's only 2 shield techs that you really need to know. First one is shield hopping. This one has to do with damage to your shield and your health. So it used to be that you would need to use this to close distance faster, which it still is slightly faster, but it's not really noticeable. Not super noticeable anymore. Rein used to be really slow when he walked forward with shield up. Now he's like 75% of his speed still, so it's not like really important you do this if it's just pushing. You definitely want to do this, or you definitely don't want to do this when there's a Widow or a Hanzo you're playing against. If they get a lucky shot through your shield, someone dies, and you don't want that. You just hold your shield up, hard shield, and walk. If you're playing against things that have more sustained damage, like a soldier or a bastion, something that has a good amount of damage but it's sustained instead of burst, you can shield hop. So what shield hopping is basically you start without anything, or you start with your shield up, and the second you jump, you press right click. And then when you land, you let go of right click and you jump again. And you put it up again. So it looks like this in place. Then you can just hold W and do the same thing. Now the reason you do this, more so than like just to close distance, is that you take damage as you walk forward, but you don't just want to take it to your shield. And the reason for that, say I'm taking damage to my shield, right? And I'm trying to close the distance between me and the spot, and he does some damage. Say, think about like if he does a lot. Say it's a bastion, right? My shield would be at 1560, or 15, or it would be really low if it was a bastion, okay? But my health would also go down. So some of the damage that would have gone into my shield goes into my health instead. And you can heal it up with your healers. So if your healers are following behind you, if you're communicating with them or whatever, right? They heal you while you move forward, and you take less damage to your shield. It's that simple. So really good for closing damage against sustained damage, or closing distance between you and sustained damage. Aside from that, there's only one other shield tech, and that is holding left click. People don't use this enough. It's so broken. Use this when you're trying to fire strike spawns. Use this just so that the other team doesn't know you're doing it. Use this when you want to look behind a corner. You can just press E and you'll go wherever you're looking. Otherwise, say you want to charge, instead of, if you pin normally, you're just going to pin forward. So what you need to do, once it comes back up, I'll show you. If you're going to do this, where say there's a Winston behind you, and their team backs up after shielding them off, you can let go of right click and then charge. Oops, missed it. So it changes direction when you let go of right click. So, boom. You can also do this with shatter, but it's really not that important that you know how to like do that. This is more an information gathering tool. You can look behind corners. You can look behind you in general, when you're zoning off people and there's people in your backline, tell your team to deal with the people in your backline, and then when they're gone, you can wait for your shield, or you can push forward when your team's ready. Super, super important. Nobody uses it. I swear. It's so good. Aside from that, that's about all the techs that I wanted to show on Ryan regarding his hammer swing. Oh, I guess the one last thing. This is more self-explanatory, but I'll explain it. Ryan's hitbox, it moves with where you're facing, so you can turn your screen and it'll hit the next thing. So, if I hit a robot here, or an enemy here, and then I turn my camera to another enemy, it'll hit them, because the swing lingers on the ends of your swing, like I showed before in the picture. And that's about it. Pretty simple. Shatter stuff, actually playing Ryan in game, that's stuff that I would need to cover in a different video. I just wanted to get out like some of these Ryan mechanics, using your hitbox manipulation correctly, because nobody does it. And yeah, that's Reinhardt. Thanks for watching.